the Brat Prince of the vampires. Once upon a time, in the heart of 18th century France, a rebellious nobleman named Lestat de Lioncourt stood at the crossroads of destiny. Born into a declining aristocratic family, Lestat was a spirited young man, very theatrical, and yearning for more than the mundane decay of the world around him. He was a dreamer, a fighter, and an artist at heart, never meant for the quiet death of mediocrity. But fate had other plans. One stormy night, as Lestat was performing on stage in Paris, a stranger approached him, a creature of elegance and death. This was Magnus, an ancient vampire who had long grown mad in solitude. With no heir and desperate to end his cursed immortality, Magnus abducted Lestat, made him drink his immortal blood, and then threw himself into fire, leaving Lestat, newly born, alone, and without guidance in the dark world of vampires. Thus began the Legend of Lestat, a vampire born not from love or teaching, but from madness and abandonment. Unlike many of his kind who embraced secrecy and sorrow, Lestat defied tradition. He reveled in his power, seducing both mortals and immortals with his charm, golden curls, and fearless heart. Called himself the Brat Prince, a name whispered with awe and irritation throughout vampire covens. Lestat sought beauty, not just blood. He played the violin under the moonlight, wrote poetry about immortality and despair, and longed to be seen not just as a monster, but as a soul. In his loneliness, he turned others. Louis, the tortured idealist. Gabrielle, his mother, who became his equal in darkness. Claudia, the tragic child vampire. Yet every act of creation brought him closer to despair, where time twisted all bonds and immortality carried endless sorrow. A vampire who sought the light. Over centuries, Lestat walked through revolutions, plagues, and wars. He challenged ancient vampires, defied the laws of their kind, and even awakened Akasha, the first vampire queen of the damned. When she sought to rule the world and destroy humanity, Lestat stood between her and destruction, discovering within himself a surprising sense of morality. He was not just a vampire. He was a mirror to humanity, capable of cruelty and compassion, arrogance and agony. Eventually, Lestat grew weary of blood and darkness. He longed for God, for meaning, for redemption. He entered churches, begged for divine punishment, and even slept in the ground for years, hoping to escape the unrelenting burden of eternity. But fate, as always, would not let Lestat rest. The undying spirit became myth-a-vampire who refused to obey the rules, who dared to write his confessions in books for the human world to read. His stories inspired fear, fascination, and even admiration. Lestat, the Brat Prince. Lestat, the lover and the monster. Lestat, who danced with death and laughed in its face. And though centuries passed and the world changed, Lestat never truly disappeared. Every once in a while, under a crimson moon, in the deepest hours of the night, a stranger with golden hair and a devilish smile appears in dark alleyways, opera houses, and dreams. Evil is always possible, and goodness is eternally difficult. Lestat de Lioncourt. The end.